Coming up, change is coming to the St. Paul's area, a high-tech 911 center upgrade and upsell opportunity. How local businesses can make sure they get a piece of the $100 million pie. These stories and much more news from Bayview to Berkeley, coming up on Norfolk News Now. Welcome to the March edition of Norfolk News Now. I'm Karen Parker Chesson with the Norfolk Police Department. Thanks for joining us. Big plans are in the works for the St. Paul's area of the Mermaid City. The Triple N's John Linka explains.
The St. Paul's area of Norfolk, also known as the former Downtown Plaza site just east of downtown, is getting a facelift.
They're going to come in, they're going to remodelize our community.
We are approaching the end of the St. Paul's area plan. It's a plan that the city began working on a little over 5 years ago, looking at how we could work to revitalize the St. Paul's area, looking at what kinds of development we could bring into this area in order to encourage a mixed income, a mixed use neighborhood.
Ruffner Middle School was the place to be a few weeks ago when the city provided residents with a plan to revitalize the St. Paul's area. A recent market study found St. Paul's has potential for more than 600,000 square feet of retail and office space and more than 2,000 mixed-income housing units. The plan includes tearing down all 618 units of the Tidewater Gardens community, which is more than 50 years old. However, each and every unit will be built back again.
They'll have the choice in relocation, and they'll have the necessary support services to do that. Anybody who needs to be relocated, I want to assure you, I've been told by the Housing Authority, based on their experience and everything else, it'll be a minimum of 18 months, well over 2 years really, between when you first hear you have to be relocated and when it actually happens.
Recognizing with NRHA that we do need to look at doing something about the condition of Tidewater Gardens, and we need to take advantage of the surface parking that the city has created on the old Downtown Plaza site for development purposes.
For the past couple of years, the city has been working with an advisory committee composed of residents and property owners in the area to figure out how to best revamp the St. Paul's area.
And we now have a plan that lays out a vision for what this area could be in the future.
That plan includes 3 themes: creating an economically diverse neighborhood.
We have to determine specific job training, education, access to jobs. It all have to be a part of this redevelopment and this activity and the development of this community for it to be successful. If we don't address the needs of the people there, we're not going to improve this community at all.
Establishing a strong sense of place.
Providing recreational opportunities. The plan has in place a series of public parks and plazas as a part of its development.
As well as connecting St. Paul's to the rest of Norfolk by addressing road design and public transportation, including a possible new bus transfer station.
It's really an effort of the city, NRHA, HRT, and the neighborhood.
And this plan is not just about buildings. This plan is about people and what do they need to be successful. So in this plan, there's a lot that addresses the human capital needs of the residents.
Revitalization is necessary and change is inevitable.
The St. Paul's area plan is a work in progress and is estimated to take 20 to 30 years to complete. For Norfolk News Now, I'm John Linka.
For more information on the St. Paul's area plan, visit norfolk.gov planning. There you can see all the projects the city is working on. Public Works and Public Utilities continue to work in close coordination to make infrastructure improvements in the Fairmount Park neighborhood. For the past several years, the departments have used capital improvement funds to replace water and sewer lines, rebuild sidewalks, curbs, and gutters, repave roads, and improve storm water drainage. The work has been planned to be as cost and time efficient as possible. The collaboration between the 2 departments has saved time and money on the projects. So far, crews have completed 9 phases of the Fairmount Park Improvement Project. There are 4 remaining phases. The Hampton Roads Naval Museum is no stranger to hosting ships, but for one Saturday last month, there were ships of a different size and material on display. Our man on the street, John Linka, explained.
Ships like these are usually built from really hot iron and steel, but ships like these came from plastic and drew the eyes of many for one Saturday in February at the Hampton Roads Naval Museum.
I love Legos. I think it's a great exhibit to, show talent, kind of show a skill set for building. And I know I've been building ever since I was probably 3-4 years old, so I still have Legos and still play with them. I'm almost 30, so.
Yes, he said Legos. They were all part of the exhibit Brick by Brick, Lego Shipbuilding, and were built by the Hampton Roads Lego User Group.
Different exhibits we like to put on for, say, the Children's Museum over in Portsmouth. We do a lot of shows over there. In this case, we have ships that we're displaying at the request of the Naval Museum. We're showing off the different ships that we have. This is the more modern age, I'll call it. We have a container ship here, which is very common for the Port of Hampton Roads. We also have a local freighter. We have some Coast Guard ships that maintain the buoys and the navigational systems throughout the waterways here. Farther up is a fishing vessel, which is obviously common around here as well. We have a float plane and several pleasure craft folks have. Farther up we have more of a fantasy type submarine motif, if you will. And then on the far side is our pirates and imperial ships, the sailing ships.
The exhibit drew more than 800 visitors who spent much of the day gawking over the more than 18,000 Lego pieces.
I think it was pretty cool. It makes it cool so because of the sizes of it. I think my favorite were the Port of Atlantis over there and the giant container ship. Those were my two favorites because they were so big.
Folks even had a chance to build their own ships out of Legos later in the day.
I bet I could build something even bigger, like a giant hideout with some ships on it.
The idea was to teach kids and adults about maritime history in a fun and out-of-the-ordinary way. For Norfolk News Now, I'm John Linka.
Norfolk residents can expect quicker and smoother service when they call 911 for help. After 2 years of planning, Norfolk's 911 call center went live with its new Sentinel Patriot phone system last month. Prior to installation, a bell would ring to alert a call taker to an incoming 911 call, and the first person available would answer.
The new system allows us to answer and effectively dispatch calls more quickly and with more functionality. In the past old system, when we heard the phone ring, it'd be a group of call takers that would select to answer the calls from. With the new system, it goes to a selected group of call takers in an orderly fashion. So they're assigned the call, they pick it up a lot more quicker and meets the needs of the citizens more effectively.
During the first 24 hours of the new system, the call center handled over 1,700 calls. The new 911 improves communication with hearing impaired residents and increases redundancy for fail-safe operation. Norfolk's New Neighbors Building Neighborhoods program aims to change the city's neighborhoods from places where people just live to the places people choose to live. The program is based on the idea of community ownership as the driving force behind neighborhood revitalization.
It's a vital part of our inclusiveness in well-managed government and getting everybody involved as not necessarily talking about what needs to be done, but getting engaged and getting it done.
By encouraging the various members of a community to work together, they are able to identify and spotlight the assets in their neighborhoods, look out for each other as neighbors, invest in their own homes, and by extension, their neighborhoods, and position their communities as the kinds of places people will seek to live.
A lot of people are skeptical that they don't have a say in their neighborhood, and so the city is trying to do better at that and make them aware that, hey, we want to know. We've got community conversations, we've got neighbors building neighborhoods, we've got a lot of opportunities out there for people to get involved It's just a matter of letting them know about those opportunities that are out there.
Residents will meet regularly to plan, implement, and manage goals. They volunteer their skills and talents to the community, and by doing so, develop strong relationships with their neighbors. In most cases, residents also build stronger relationships with the city, local businesses, school, and other community stakeholders along the way. There are 6 Norfolk communities actively working on creating a community action plan under the Neighbors Building Neighborhoods program. Compostela Heights, Denby Park, Oakdale Farms, East Ocean View, Lamberts Point, Norview, and Park Place. There are hundreds of job opportunities in the city of Norfolk if you've got the right training. A new marketing campaign through Workforce Development will help you get everything you need to line up your new job. Lori Crouch explains.
Since 1936, BAE Systems right here in Norfolk has been providing on-the-job training. Well, that tradition continues just as strong today right across the Elizabeth River, where 155 apprentices will turn into employees in just 4 years. With his face inches away from a 1900-degree oven, Nick Stepanowicz gingerly removes a molten hot piece of metal.
It took me a while to figure these out. I kept dropping them. Working with tongs is one of the things that it's hard to practice.
Yeah, the 21-year-old blacksmith apprentice is already learning more than he ever thought he would by working alongside some of the best in ship repair at BAE Systems.
I came here knowing a little bit about general skills, work with my hands, and they took all that and threw it out the window and showed me how to do it right.
Making sure Nick gets it right is blacksmith shop supervisor Mac White.
This type of work is very unforgiving.
With 40 years of forging experience, White is one of the best in the business. Passing down his knowledge is a labor of love.
It's real interesting for him, and that's the type of person that you need that'll carry on something like this and to carry on the legacy of our shop and all kind of work that we do.
It just kind of blows my mind that Mac has been forging steel since well before my parents were born. I've heard stories that he's been forging steel before he was even a teenager. And there's just so much that he knows that I'll never know simply because it's not done anymore.
Next door, Kevin Grinnell's watches as a gas beam pierces a sheet of metal.
Whatever anybody needs, you can make anything.
Grinnell's heard about BAE's apprenticeship program while studying at Tidewater Community College.
It's a great relief knowing that you know a trade and nobody can take that trade away from you, and you'll have that with you the rest of your life.
BAE offers apprenticeships in 14 different maritime trades. The 4-year program offered only in Norfolk is highly competitive. 600 applicants for 35 to 40 slots. For those picked, there's good pay and benefits. For BAE, the program's payoff is priceless.
Dealing with an aging workforce right now that kind of look like me in their mid-50s, and we're thinking about retirement, we're actually bringing up our replacements in the trades, as well as supervisors, managers, and again, future leaders of the company.
BAE is not alone in its efforts to mold the next generation. At least 75 Norfolk companies offer apprenticeships, and there are 250 occupations that are approved for certified apprenticeship programs. Yet for all the opportunities, Norfolk residents seem to miss out.
We have a higher unemployment rate in the city of Norfolk than some of the other localities.
To the unemployed, underemployed, and emerging workforce, Norfolk's Development Department is launching a new workforce initiative dubbed It's Your Turn, Norfolk.
And if I think that young people in particular, our emerging workforce, the kids coming out of school, would have the ability to talk to one of the shipyard employees, they'd be able to say, I've put my family through college, I've been able to sustain a very good career, I've been able to do the things that I wanted to do in terms of career goals and objectives.
Besides a one-stop shop of links leading to job and training provider opportunities on the Development Department's website, the It's Your Turn initiative will include community outreach to civic leagues and nonprofits to help recruit people in need of work and help connect them with the resources they need. Where they work is irrelevant.
If we can give a Norfolk resident a good career opportunity, and they're still here in Norfolk, raising their family and making Norfolk a greater place to be, then that's quite all right.
Nick sees a bright future once he completes the apprenticeship program.
That is going on a ship, and that is going overseas, and that someday that could be what stands the line between us and between them and freedom.
Churning out a well-trained workforce, a legacy worth continuing.
I love doing this kind of work, and I've had a lot of pride in it. And to have somebody to come up that can do this kind of work, you've got to instill that pride in them so that when they lay something down or when they do a job, then this job says who they are.
Norfolk, connecting experts and initiatives to help residents discover what it takes to be what they want to be. If you're looking for a job or would like more information about It's Your Turn Norfolk, go to www.norfolkdevelopment.com. For Norfolk News Now, I'm Lori Crouch.
More than $126 million is expected to flow into the local economy as a result of the projected 1.5 million people who will attend OpSell 2012 later this year. The Department of Economic Development wants to make sure Norfolk's businesses know how to get their share of those dollars. Businesses that want to become OpSell 2012 vendors are encouraged to register for the OpSell Certified Business Initiative. The initiative is a web-based program that connects businesses to free online government training resources, vendor and merchandise forms and information and updates to keep users informed about event progress and opportunities. For more information about the OpSell 2012 Certified Business Initiative, visit the Department of Economic Development online at norfolkdevelopment.com. When we come back, hearing the voices of Norfolk's next generation of leaders, plus an artistic salute to Black history, and the MEAC basketball championships are back at Scope and not to be missed.
Algebra 2! Foreign languages! And finally, biology! Who among you will step up to their challenge?
Me.
Yeah, I'll do it. Me too. Sign me up.
Take on the tough classes now. You need them to prepare for college.
Welcome back to the Triple N. Last month, Norfolk's youth had another chance to speak up and be heard. The Norfolk Youth Council, in partnership with the Department of Recreation, Parks, and Open Space, held another youth forum at the Norview Community Center. It was a meeting of the minds between adults and youth in the city and a chance to talk about strategies and community relations in schools and in the Mermaid City.
Well, currently we are speaking about school issues that the youth have and that they face while attending school, and the lack of afternoon activities that the youth, they propose activities that they would like to see implemented in Norfolk. And so we're just like getting various ideas and get specifics, and we're actually getting them to propose, what would you like to do? How would you like this to be worked out, and kind of like a compromise.
There were breakout groups and brainstorming with everyone gathering together to come up with ideas as to how adults and youth could better understand each other.
So often the youth feel that they may be left out in the process, but because we are talking about communities and neighborhoods, they are a part of that, and we want them to actually come out and be a part of this process, share their thoughts, concerns, and come up with some strategies that we can perhaps benefit or perhaps benefit everyone involved.
Well, I think it's wonderful. I think it's great because we're all able to respectfully understand where everyone's coming from, their viewpoints, and I just think that's just great that they're allowing us to speak about everything pertaining to us within Norfolk.
For more information on future youth forums, contact the Youth Services Division at 441-2400, extension 223. Norfolk High School students planning to earn a degree in criminal justice when they head to college are encouraged to apply for the 2012 Virginia Sheriff's Institute Scholarship. To be eligible, students should plan to study criminal justice at a Virginia college or university, and their application must be accompanied by a letter of recommendation from Sheriff Robert McCabe. Applications are available on the front page of the Sheriff's website at norfolksheriffsoffice.com. Completed applications should be sent to Sheriff McCabe to be reviewed no later than April 20th. The Sheriff will forward applications that meet all necessary criteria along with the required letter of recommendation to the Virginia Sheriff's Institute by the May 1st deadline. For additional information, contact Dee Minor in the Norfolk Sheriff's Office at 664 4713. Work on the new MacArthur Memorial Visitor Center halted in February, but only for a few brief hours. Crews stopped work just long enough for a topping off ceremony to mark the halfway point in construction.
The project continues the General Douglas MacArthur Foundation's long-standing partnership with the City of Norfolk. This partnership goes back to 1961 and has seen the dedication of the MacArthur Memorial in Norfolk's Old City Hall and Courts building, and the operation of the MacArthur Memorial is one of our city's major attractions for 48 years.
The U.S. flag hanging in the beams marks the moment when construction on the center's roof begins. The state-of-the-art visitor center will triple the space for changing exhibits at the memorial. There is also a new multimedia theater, a great hall for visitor orientation, and an upgraded museum shop.
Well, I think the thing that you can see at this point in time is that it is one, I believe, that does not detract from the memorial, but rather complements, supplements the memorial, and shows that we're going to have a facility that's going to really give us a lot of capabilities that we have never had before. One of those being a secure storage space for the artifacts, a visitor's lounge, a brand new theater, a much larger changing exhibit galleries.
The new visitor center is slated to open late this summer. Representatives from Public Works set up at Lamberts Point Golf Course recently to discuss temporary repairs to address damage left behind by Hurricane Irene in August. The storm caused an erosion problem at hole number 7 along the shoreline of the Lafayette River. Crews shored up the damage by placing riprap. That's a series of large rocks in the eroded area to further halt damage. Public Works is pitching a more permanent fix for the course to City Council. That permanent fix would cost about $2.5 million. If it is approved, that work would likely begin in September. A huge athletic event is headed to Norfolk in the coming years. The Triple N's John Linka has all the details from Norfolk Scope.
The City of Norfolk welcomes you to Strawberry Freedom!
Over the past couple of years, high school basketball has made quite the impression at Norfolk Scope. The boys and girls Eastern Region tournaments have filled the seats in Norfolk Scope, and pretty soon Division I college basketball will look to do the same with the return of the men's and women's Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference tournaments.
While it was a success, a big success actually, in 1991 and through 1993, with the addition of Hampton University and Norfolk State University as members, we are certain and we have every reason to believe the tournament will be bigger and better now 20 years later.
The MEAC is made up of 13 historically black colleges and universities from up and down the East Coast. They'll play their men's and women's conference tournaments in the spring of 2013, 2014, and 2015 at Scope in the heart of downtown Norfolk.
Our vibrant downtown offers plenty of places now to shop and to dine and to stay, all within walking distance of the Scope. Visitors will be able to enjoy and experience Virginia's first light rail.
Mayor, got a heck of a city here. That's one of the reasons why we're here. Is the progressive leadership of the council, the mayor, and the citizens. You talk about the light rail, all that's good stuff, man. We like that kind of stuff. Talk about downtown development, that's good stuff, man. We like that kind of stuff.
But the return of this tournament to Norfolk is about more than retail and about a lot more than just basketball.
I went to an HBCU, Historically Black University, and I know how important it is for our young people in the city of Norfolk to be able to understand their heritage, and bringing all of these schools into the city of Norfolk will give these young people an opportunity and be enriched by the college day experience that the MEAC provides during the tournament.
We're going to reach out into the community, the high schools, the middle schools, the elementary schools, and let them know that there's a future beyond where you are. Let them know that you can go to college.
We hope each and every person enjoying some of the best basketball around will see how we celebrate life daily and make Norfolk a destination to enjoy again.
For Norfolk News Now, I'm John Linka.
Various branches of the Norfolk Public Library hosted a performance by the Orosirici Performing Arts Company as part of the celebration of Black History Month. Orosirici is a husband and wife team comprised of Nigerian-born folk artists Adedute Harrell and Don Harrell, a music scholar and performing artist. Orosirici utilizes varied African-rooted artistic forms to impart their life and musical experiences. That wraps up the March edition of Norfolk News Now on the Triple N. Thanks for watching Norfolk's Neighborhood Network. For all things Norfolk, I'm Karen Parker Tesson with the Norfolk Police Department. Take care of yourself and your city and celebrate life daily.